And not everyone shares your work ethic, Sajid.
Yes, right. So there's a quiet quitting. Why doing the bare minimum work has gone global. And this is very interesting because following on from that story. So this happened from the pandemic. So people reassess their lives, their working home life. And what they're doing is they don't care about organising the Friday night drinks. They don't care about getting the Christmas cards signed by everybody and the birthday cards. Like, they do their bare minimum, effectively a self-imposed work to rule. You know, do the time, get out, and then do your own thing. And there's people who've got, like, careers, and it's made us assess things as well as comedians, even though we've got, like, you know, flexible hours anyway and stuff. But there's one great woman. She's I think she basically, her and her friend Amy Jones have started their marketing career together, and you know, she's really going high flying. And the friend said, "Oh, I'm reducing my days to 3 days," and she sort of judged her. And then she said, and I love this line. I think we should all take it on board. "My busyness doesn't equal my worth," and that's so beautiful, isn't it? It's so true.
I love all of this this sort of flowers and sunshine about, you know, new groovy working practices and work-life balance and people popping off to the gym for 7 hours in the middle of a working day. Here's the issue, Sajila. It's all very well if we make the work-life balance better and all have better lives, the economy will shrink and there will be less money for public services.
Well, no, not OK. If you're doing the work that you're supposed to do, you've done the work. If you've got flexi time, that's a legal thing. That's not. Sure. That's not. You can still do your work, and there's like 4-day working week. You know, there's all different models of working, and it's you still have to do the work.
I feel there are people on full-time contracts now who are looking for a sort of flexi time lifestyle.
Yeah, but you're entitled to have that as a full-time person. You are entitled to have that legally.
Yeah, but people are starting to say, you know, I don't want to go into the office. I'll work from home for a day, probably.
I mean, the
Friday.
working from home. You're right. Working from home, like that's changed the whole like kind of look of the global world. I mean, you know, I know we're working from home because that's like the creatives do. But if you're used to going in, you're not using the trains, you're not using the cafes, and we've discussed this before.
You know what? I spoke to a man about 3/4 of an hour in this building who was telling me about someone he knows, and because they're working from home, they're saving £700 a month on rail fare. So, I mean, I just like, it's unbelievable. So if you're saving $8.5 grand net on your money, sign me up for that. I like the story because in the notes given to us by the producer, and then we read out the headline, and the second line is the meaningless of modern work.
Yeah.
I thought they were just aiming that one at me and us, but has led many to question their approach to their jobs. I mean, I don't know anyone now who is doing 5 days a week in an office. I'm sure you don't. I mean, no. I don't know if you've ever worked in an office.
I have had office jobs, yeah, selling pensions on the phone. No. The issue, what I was getting at earlier is just in terms of, you know, if we're going to have more of a work-life balance, that's fine. We won't compete with China and other countries that have a sort of workaholic culture. And the issue is, if you speak to, like, hard-pressed entrepreneurs running medium or small-sized businesses, they will tell you that the staff they've got on the payroll, the full-time staff, they need them to work 8-10 hours a day, 5 days a week.
But to quote Jerry, I mean, I appreciate I'm not here tonight to quote Jerry Maguire, but I would say, show me the money, because the reality is that people who are working from home are as productive, if not more, according to the research that I read recently, which is unnamed, so therefore the best sort of research. But the productivity is just as good for people who are working from home.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm not 100% sure, unless you own a big chain of coffee shops in the centre of London or near where we are in Paddington, you would stress that people are not coming into the office 5 days a week. But if you are that person where you can save 700 quid, splicing about 4 different life experiences together into one person, save 700 quid, work just as well from home, spend more time with your family.
Well, I do agree with you.
More time in the gym.
I agree with you about the net saving, but work just as well as in the office is, I think, up for debate. You know, James Dyson said just a few weeks ago in an interview with The Telegraph that he thinks it will cost the British economy £15 billion a year and will be a productivity disaster.
Did he say that from London or from Singapore?
Well, he's a very successful British entrepreneur that pays, I think, £120 million in tax every year. So it doesn't matter where he lives, he makes a contribution, doesn't he?
Touché.